All right. I've got top of the hour here on my system. So I want to welcome you all here to this Comeback Yoga All Levels class. My name is Tonya, and I'm here to support you in your practice in this All Levels class. If you're brand new to yoga, this will be a good class for you. If you're experienced and just this time has worked out good for you and you just need to be here to stretch and move. And I welcome you all, whatever level you're at and whatever state of mind you're at today. So, approach today's practice with curiosity if you're new, and even if you're experienced, just exploring some different movements and that kind of thing as we move through our practice today. Always remember in this comeback yoga class that if you feel anything that doesn't feel right or any pain or numbing sensation, any kind of discomfort that doesn't change with the breath, then just take care of yourself, back out of it. We can push ourselves a little bit, moving a little bit beyond our comfort zone, but not to the point of pain or injury, of course. So, I welcome you. And if you have a small blanket or a beach towel, bath towel, if you'd like to bring that to your practice today, and if there's any other props that you like to use for your practice, go ahead and grab those. And we're going to start in a seated position. You could be sitting. I happen to be sitting on one of those big exercise balls. It's best for my knees. But you might be sitting on a cushion, a pillow. You could be sitting on a chair to start with today. And we'll start with either the eyes closed or open and just starting to sense our body resting on the surface, sensing how we're feeling today, how our heart is, how our mind is, how our body feels. And just sensing, just noticing any words, sensations, feelings that might be present, that might be right on the surface, or that might start to reveal themselves. So, the sitting with ourself in some moments of quiet and stillness, the beginning of practice, even kind of throughout the practice, we'll find moments of pause. These moments of pause are really helpful for our bodies, for our minds, and for our hearts to experience whatever it is that we're experiencing in the moment. So, taking a few deep breaths here, noticing where your breath arrives. Where does it move you? Where do you feel it? And notice the head if you're sitting upright. Just feeling it balanced on your shoulders, feeling your shoulders balanced over the hips. We don't feel any particular direction that the head is, side to side, or jutting forward or back. It's just balanced easily and naturally on our shoulders, over the hips. And we'll take just a couple more breaths here. All right. And then if your eyes are closed, I invite you to lift your gaze And we'll just take our chin slightly down towards the chest. And then lift it up slightly or a little bit higher than the shoulders and bringing it back down. Just nice and slow. No need to force anything, just kind of noticing the range of motion. Notice where there might be some sticking points, where there might be some tightness. Just real slow. And then bringing your head back to center and slowly turning your head to one side. Maybe your gaze follows as well. And gently bringing your head back to center. If you get dizzy in this at all, you can keep your eyes on one point, like maybe looking at the screen as your head turns. I don't know how dancers do it. They twirl and spin. No idea how they don't just get so dizzy. And then turning the other way. Coming back. And we'll do one more time to the other side. Just nice and easy. Just noticing and sensing that range of motion. Try not to force anything. And then come back to center. Bring your hands to your shoulders and take your elbows forward. They may not go too high, especially if those shoulders are coming way up to the ears, and then take them back. The size of your circle and the range of motion may be different than mine, and one side might be different than the other. So just sensing that, just noticing, and just taking it nice and slow, tracking sensation along the way. And do one more time. Also, sensing the breath. Are you holding your breath or is it flowing fluidly? And let's go the other direction now, about 5 rotations here. Trying to isolate the shoulder. And one more time. Good. And then holding those elbows out to shoulder height. Bring your arms out and back in. And out and back in. And out. Again, just try to isolate the elbow. And one more time. Good. And then releasing the hands to the lap. If you're like me with chronic neck tension, sometimes that's where immediately where the neck tensions or where the tension's going to go. So just notice if you start to build that tension. Have to think about low tension in the body as we move through these movements. All right. So bringing your hands out in front, your elbows at your waist, and bring your thumbs into your palms and then wrap the other fingers around. Rotate the wrists. Again, just try to isolate those wrists. And sometimes the elbows and the forearms and even the shoulders want to go along with it. So just concentrate, but relax in this rotation. There's no right or wrong. Just really try to focus on the rotation. We'll go the other direction. And then releasing the hands to the lap, palms face up. And then extend the fingers out in front. I have to lift my arms, but you're going to keep your hands on your lap. Arms out front, and then fingers in the palms and out. So just keep doing that. Good. And then release. And then shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. Even flick those fingers. Shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. Even shaking the shoulders. Shaking. All right. We're going to come to stand today. We're actually going to start our practice today, little different. So coming up to a standing position and just taking a moment to sense your feet. Feet can be hip distance or whatever's comfortable. And now let's circle one ankle. So lifting the heel, rotating through that ankle joint. And then rotating the other direction. And let's switch sides. And go the other way. And having your hands on your hips, and go back to the first leg. And now just start to maybe focus a little bit more on the hip here. Of course, the foot and the knee are going to get involved, but try to just focus on your hip joint. And go the other way. And let's go to the other side. So noticing your breath. Other way. And find stillness. So taking the feet maybe just a little bit wider than the hips, a little bend in the knees, and just start to circle your hips. Just kind of noticing again, kind of that range of motion in those hips. Noticing how the rest of the body gets involved or doesn't get involved. And we'll go the other direction. Notice if there's any tension building in those shoulders. All right. And then coming to stillness, do a couple rotations of the shoulders, elbows, wrists. And then let's do the whole body, just kind of moving. All right. And then finding stillness. All right. Come to the short edge of your mat. Finding a comfortable stance in those feet. And with your next inhale, bring your arms up overhead. You can look up or keep your gaze forward. On your exhale, lower your arms down. 2 more times. Inhale, sweeping the arms up, and exhaling, lowering your arms down. Last one. Inhale, sweep up, really reach up. And we're going to hold the arms up here. Stretch your arm up, one arm up as if you're reaching the light bulb or you're reaching for something in the cabinet, and then other side. So just side to side bends. I'll just show this way. So reaching up to something. Yeah. And then drawing the elbow down. Just reaching up side to side. That's it. Okay. And then coming back up with both arms. And on your exhale, now take the arms down and touch the floor. If you can't touch the floor today, not accessible because arm leg length ratio, then just bring your hands onto your legs. And then release forward. Let's come up onto the shins, everyone. Hands up onto the shins or to the thighs, and exhale to a forward fold. Maybe there's a little bend in the knees. One more time, inhaling, bringing the hands up the legs, and exhaling to forward fold. Touching your hands down to the floor, and step your left leg back into a lunge. Maybe coming up onto the fingertips. Lower your left knee down and pat it here if you need. You can point the foot or keep it flexed. Push down into your front foot. We'll inhale and bring the arms up, maybe bringing the hip right over the knee here. And take one more breath in as we reach the arms up. And exhale, soften those shoulders. And then inhale, reach up. And exhale, taking the hands down to the ground. If the ground isn't too close by, you could always have a yoga block if you wanted. And we'll straighten that front leg now, flexing the foot. You don't have to go all the way straight. In fact, little bend in the knee might behoove you, and press down into that heel so we get a little bit of muscular engagement in that leg. And then coming forward, we'll lift the back knee and turn on it so that you're facing the long edge of your mat and straightening your right leg. Walk it across so that the heel and the knee more or less line up. And you can have your toes forward or you can have your toes pointing to the long edge of the mat. Coming into gate pose, inhale, bringing the arms out nice and wide, and exhaling, extending over your straight leg, bringing that top arm overhead. And we'll just take a couple more breaths here as we reach across. And inhaling, coming up and lower down. Walk this knee in, hands come down, lift up the back knee, coming into a lunge. And step forward to your fold, placement of the feet more or less under the hips. Bring your hands up your shins to a flat back, elbows squeeze up towards the ceiling. Exhale and release into a forward fold. Bending your knees, we'll look forward and come all the way up to stand, reaching the arms up. Exhaling, hands coming to the heart. Inhaling, arms lift. Think about those pinkies getting long. And exhaling, bending your knees, sweeping the arms down to the floor. Legs can go straight as we bring the hands up the shins. Exhaling, maybe the knees bend as we bring the hands down. Step your right leg back into the lunge. And where you end up is really variable. Everyone's going to be a little different here. So, just where did you end up, and pushing down into that front foot to feel the earth beneath you. And then release your back knee down to the floor. Either point the toes or flex, whatever feels better on your knee, maybe patting it here. And then coming up into a crescent lunge. Push into that front foot. Reach your arms up. And release the hands down. Move towards straight on the front leg, maybe going straight without locking the knee. Some of you might be really flexible in those joints and you want to heed caution to not overdo it in those ligaments. And coming forward, lifting that back knee. Oops, I forgot our gate pose. So you're going to turn the back knee around and straighten your front leg. So you're going to wiggle it across and inhale, open the arms, and exhale, side bend over that straight leg. And inhaling to come up and exhaling, lower the arm down, bend that left knee, and we'll lift up to our lunge again. Stepping forward to a fold, placing those feet in a comfortable distance. Maybe the knees are bent here. Inhale, lifting up halfway, and exhaling, touching down, bending the knees. Now bend your knees quite a lot for a chair position, bringing the hands up onto the lap for an assist. As we push down into the lap, you start to feel maybe even a little bit of core work and a little bit of back work. You also feel the big muscles working here on the legs. With your next inhale, bring the arms into a Y or a V, however you want to, kind of at a diagonal. And then exhale, we'll come to stand. Chair pose can be really challenging. All right, release the arms down. And take a couple of breaths here in your mountain pose, standing tall, heads in the clouds and feet on the earth. Take a couple more moments to feel that solidity in the lower legs and feel the lift of your torso. Feel the almost a relaxed state in the torso as we rise to the sky and as our feet press down into the earth. All right, let's repeat our sequence, same poses. Inhale, bringing the arms up, and exhale, bend the knees slightly as you come forward. The hands touch down or not. Maybe the legs go straight now as we bring the hands up the shins. Exhale and forward fold. Your left leg goes back into that lunge. Now, option is to keep the knee lifted. Another option is to bring the knee down. Okay, so wherever you are, we'll use the hands as an assist to bring us up. That gives us some strength here. Yeah. And then coming into crescent, as the arms come up. Take one more breath in here to reach up and exhale. Let those arms, maybe there's a little bend in the arms, maybe the shoulders are away from the ears. All right, good job. Taking the hands down to the earth. Now, if your back knee is down, you can straighten that front leg. If your back knee is lifted like I am, we'll slide the foot in a little bit and come into a pyramid pose. So straightening that front leg with the hands maybe on the floor still, or maybe they're on the shin, or maybe they're even up onto the thigh. It can be a little bit more balance, challenging with the hands up a little higher. So you decide. And we'll take one more breath in here. Good. All right. And then we'll come back into that. We'll come back down onto the ground for gate pose. And here we are, opening up, sending that right leg straight, and then reach across for gate. Arm comes up. Good. And then reach the top arm up, 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 up. And we'll come into our lunge again. Hands down and lift up. Looking forward, step the feet together into your fold. With your next breath, come up halfway. So really take it in. Exhale, really let it out. Bending the knees, we'll come into our chair position, choosing an arm position for you, feeling the balance here, the weight, the solidity, the earth. And inhale, we'll rise all the way up. And exhaling, hands coming to the heart. Second round and last round of that sequence on the second side. Inhaling, bringing your arms up, and exhaling, tipping forward with a long, 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 really long spine as you come down. Keep that spine long as you come up halfway. So this torso is parallel to the earth. Exhale and touch down, letting the head drain towards the earth. And stepping your right leg back this time, coming into that lunge. Option again is to bring your back knee down. Either way, we'll assist up, give us a little bit of feedback here. And then legs strong, bring the arms up. You can always keep your hands on your leg for a little more assist. Good. And take 2 more breaths here. You're doing great. I know it. You're still here. Good. And taking the hands down to the ground. Dropping your back knee and turning on it for that gate pose. So the leg goes straight. Choose a position, toes forward or to the side. Arms go up wide, floating those arms up, and then reach towards your straight leg for gate. And inhale, bring it back up, 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 and lower down. All right, turning towards your short edge of your mat for the lunge. And I'm a little out of sequence, aren't I? So if you're on your knee, go ahead and straighten your front leg here. Or if you want to join me in pyramid, we straighten the legs here. So you choose. We'll take 2 more breaths wherever that is. If you're standing like I am, really push into those feet, really connect to the earth. Really feel how when our lower body is organized, it helps our upper body. Good. All right, nice work. And everyone will press back into a plank pose. And if your wrists bother you here, there's a couple of options. Knees down. You can make fists for wrists, gives you a little bit more strength for those wrists. You could also come to the forearms. So I know I've been talking a lot, but let's hold whatever position we'd like to hold. And we'll use our breath to activate the core muscles. So with your next exhale, imagine you're blowing up a balloon. We'll do 2 more times. Pushing down into your hands or the forearms. Exhaling, blowing into a balloon. Good. One more time. Good. And everyone come on down to your belly, coming into a Sphinx pose, bringing the forearms parallel to one another and pushing down into those forearms, into those palms. We'll take one more breath in here and then exhale, coming down. Bringing your fingertips to your temples, the elbows going wide. Kind of lift and lower and reach the legs long so you feel a little bit more length coming into your body here. And then pause, everything down to the earth. With your next inhale, we'll lift the elbows, the head, the torso, just a little or a lot. Exhale and lower down, just the upper body. 2 more times. Inhale. As you press down into the legs, you feel how that automatically lifts the upper body. And come down. One more time. Squeezing those elbows up more towards the ceiling. And then exhaling, lower down. And just rest the hands now under the forehead and release everything. Just letting any tightness, physical tension just move out and beyond. All right, we're going to add the legs now. So the legs will lift along with the upper body. So fingertips to temples, forehead is facing down, pressing your hips down into the floor. Automatically, that might lift your legs and your torso up a smidge. If you want a little bit more, you got to activate the glutes. You got to activate the upper back. As you lift, begin to lift. It could be a little or it could be a lot, but still focus on the glutes, bottoms of the feet, the toes stretching, exhaling and lowering straight down. Now, if this is too much, you can skip the next 2 rounds. If you want to join me at the 3rd round, just do what you need to do. Here we go. Inhale, lifting up, straight up. The only thing that's down is your hips. Exhaling and lower down everything. One more time. Engage the back line of the body as you lift up. And exhaling to come down. Good. And that's our back bending for today, mostly. All right. Stretch one arm forward so you end up rolling onto the side facing the screen. And bring the knees out in front of you and just resting your head on your bottom arm. If you'd like to, you could also use a pillow here instead. We'll bring those knees close to the chest. And just take a moment to kind of stretch out the back here. So you can hug the knees in a little bit more, making a little ball with your body. It's just a really nice way to stretch the spine and the hips. All right. And then straighten both legs now along the so that you're in a nice long line here. So opposite of what you just were. You're just going to go really long and straight as possible. All right. And then engage the legs here. Stack your feet. Make your legs really strong, pressing your feet together. You might even start to feel a little bit of engagement along the waistline. You might even feel a little bit in the glutes. All right. Let's take 2 more breaths here like this. Good. And then release that. Bring the bottom knee out in front a little bit for support. And bring your left knee in, grab your ankle, and bring your knee behind you for a quad stretch. Rolling that top shoulder back. And if you want to grab a blanket or a towel or something to hook that foot, that's available too. Otherwise, starting here with a knee into the chest can give it us more access. And then taking the leg maybe in line with the hip, might not end up there today. Maybe it's more forward. No problem. A lot of times we do get really tight in this area. So now I want you to think about kind of engaging the waistline, engaging the back glute, so your top glute, and then see if that changes any sensation in the quadricep. All right, and then bringing that knee into the armpit or to the shoulder here. And you can hold it here, maybe pulse a little bit. Take that same leg now out in front of you, and maybe the bottom of the foot comes down to the floor. It really depends on the architecture of your ankle. And we'll take the bottom arm now and bring it under. So the shoulder comes under. We'll take the top arm up and come into a twist here. You may not end up all the way onto your back. And another option here is to grab your bottom ankle with that back hand. So you get kind of 2 for 1 here as um, you get this outer leg stretch and you get a quad stretch on the bottom. All right, and then unwind, straightening both legs, and come onto your belly again. Just resting the head on those hands. Lifting one leg, lengthening it, and lowering it down. Other leg lifts, lengthen, and lower down. And if you feel like you need to do that a couple more times on each side, go for it. All right, we're going to come on to our other side. I'm actually going to press up and turn so I'm facing the screen again. So we start with those knees out in front, a little hug into the chest. All right, and then straightening both legs to nice and long, one straight line. Your torso's in line with the legs, your head's in line with the spine. And flex your feet. And I meant to do this on the other side, but push into your top hand and lift your legs. So we're only lifting the legs. Yep. And really energize the legs. And as you push down into the top hand, notice if your waistline comes up off of the floor. Maybe not off, but away from. Good. And then lower down. All right. Bringing those knees out in front, just in line with the hips or the navel. Bring your top knee into your chest, grabbing that ankle and sending the knee towards the short edge of your mat. And think about those same principles where if we kind of narrow the waistline with our exhale and engage the top glute, how that can alter the sensation in the quadricep. You may or may not like it. It might feel good, but if it doesn't go away after, a moment or two, then maybe you're putting too much effort into it and need to back out of it a little bit. Good. And then bringing that knee in towards the armpit. And then sending the leg straight out in front. And the bottom leg can go straight. If you wanted to try your hand at the quad stretch on the bottom leg without getting a Charlie horse in your hamstring on the bottom leg, if it's not available today, no harm, no foul. And then we'll add a little twist by threading the bottom arm under and rolling towards that back shoulder. And coming back onto your side, bring those knees into your chest one last time, and maybe resting your head on your prop or on your arm. And pressing yourself up to grab your towel or your blanket and taking your blanket or your towel, and we'll do like a triple fold or an accordion fold. So you have kind of these folds in the towel or the blanket. So it ends up being maybe as not quite as wide as your torso, but maybe a couple of inches thick. Okay, and we'll take that down to the floor and bring it kind of just up next to your back and roll down onto your back. Now, what I like to do here, if I have enough excess, is to kind of tuck the top edge of it underneath my neck a little bit so I get a little bit of a lift from my head. You could also add just another towel or blanket here. And I'm going to straighten the legs once you get there. You shouldn't feel like any sharp pains or major discomfort at the low back, the neck. It should feel comfortable. Okay. So if it's not comfortable at all, Um, it might be one of those that the comfort does develop over a couple of breaths, but if the comfort doesn't change, then change the prop, maybe even remove it. Okay. And then we're going to take our arms up towards the ceiling with the palms facing one another. Your arms are about shoulder distance apart here. Extend the arms up towards the ceiling so that the shoulders come away from that blanket or the floor. And then exhale, let the shoulders soften down towards the floor. And now open your arms straight out into a T position, letting the back of the hands slowly float down to the floor. And if you'd like to make an audible sigh or two here, and as you do so, maybe notice if there's any tightness that now has that sensation has changed. If there's a feeling of support from the earth beneath you, if there's a feeling of release, what is it that you might notice? And sensing how the breath might be changing here. There might be a shift in the inhalation or the exhalation. There might be a shift in where it lands. Is it moving deeper into the ribs, front, the sides, and the back? Where do you feel your breath? And if possible, breathing in and out through your nose so that the air is filtered, it's warmed. We'll just take a couple more moments here. Now we'll walk the feet in so they come about to the edge of the mat, maybe, or a little closer together. And maybe the knees come together. Take your arms now slowly up overhead, crossing the elbows at the chest and grabbing opposite shoulders. Breathing into the upper middle back, feeling that feedback from your prop. And open the arms, inhaling and exhaling, taking the other elbow on top as you grab those shoulders. You can even tuck the chin slightly here, really broadening the upper middle back. You could even kind of squeeze those elbows down a little bit more towards the chest. Good. And then unwind. Taking your time, but roll gently off of your prop. And if you want to turn it sideways, if it's not too high, to come under your head and then roll back onto your back. And either straightening the legs or finding a different position for the legs. You could also use this towel or a blanket and place it behind the knees if you'd rather have support for the knees. So, landing here now in our final meditation relaxation. So, finding a position that your body could sustain for about 5 minutes, 5 to 7 minutes, feeling a sense of ease start to come into your body if it hasn't already. And we can start by sensing the breath. Again, sensing how the breath is passing through the mouth, the throat, the heart, and where else? Into the lower lungs. Receiving that breath like a gift and then offering it back out. Feeling the aliveness of your breath, the life force of your breath, the life force that sustains, that gives life every day, every moment, without forcing, without controlling. And then sensing the inside of your mouth, noticing if your teeth are touching. If they are, just softening a little, letting the ease come into the jaw. And notice again when you do that, where else do you feel a sense of relief? Is it in the shoulders? Do you feel it in the neck? What about your ear canals? What about the back of your skull? And then what do you notice across your eyelids, your forehead? Is there a stilling? Is there a quieting? Is the tightening beginning to release the grip? Do you feel your body beginning to release its grip to the tightening, to the tension, to the stressors of every day that can sometimes have a really strong hold on our bodies and on our hearts and on our minds? And is that tight stronghold there for a reason? And what if that stronghold just loosens its grip even a little bit more? And the hand begins to open a little more. And the hand begins to let the the grains of sand slip through the fingers, the grains of tension slipping through. You continue to feel held by the earth. Continue to feel the safety of the earth, the security, the unwavering of the earth as it is right now, below you, holding you, supporting you through food, through shelter, providing everything that you need day in and day out. It does not judge, it does not criticize, It only sustains without expectations. The earth is there for you. Taking a few more moments in silence to note how the earth provides for you today. And how do you feel earth in your body? And begin now to touch the surface beneath you, feeling the texture, the temperature, maybe touching your body, feeling your own touch. And then begin to move. Maybe it's the fingers, maybe it's the wrists, ankles. Maybe begin to move shoulders, arms, legs, knees, any way that calls. If you like to hug your knees in, if you like to move a little side to side, and then taking your time, maybe coming onto your side if you're lying down. And taking your time to press up to sitting, finding any position that is suitable for you. Maybe keeping your eyes closed if they're closed. And if you'd like to join me then in bringing the hands together in front of the heart, where we close our time together today, where we take in a moment to bow to the heart, a moment of gratitude for this thread of peace, this thread of contentment, this thread of health that we provide to our bodies, this nourishment of our body, of our breath, our heart, and of our mind. Letting us return time and time again to this practice, giving ourselves permission for self care, for resiliency. Even when we get knocked down, we can bring ourselves to this practice to help us regain our strength and our footing. May you be well until I see you next time. You can lift your head and release the hands. Again, my name is Tonya. It's been such a pleasure to be here with you. If you have the means and would like to donate to Comeback Yoga, there is a link below that you can contribute. Um, Otherwise, I'll see you again in the future. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And I'll stay on for just a moment if you have something that you'd like to share about today's practice. Thanks again.